I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I am Sir Foul Player of Brooklyn on my new channel, aptly titled Behold. I am Sir Foul Player of Brooklyn on my making sure my audio works. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. The one of you who is listening at this current juncture, do hit the like button as you come in if you would so honor me. But with that, I want to talk about the big news of the weekend. If you guys have been hidden under a rock, um, it is that the U.S., along with Israel, have conducted missile strikes in the country of Iran, and the Ayatollah of Iran has been had his life ended at the end of one of these missile strikes. I actually found this news out this morning. I've had a real tough week shoveling snow. Um, in addition to getting after it, trying to make money this week, and I just had one of the. It was last night was one of the rare instances in which I actually went to sleep early, and apparently at about 2 in the morning last night, Trump put a post out. Um, I think it was like an 8 minute post saying that he was conducting these missile strikes in Iran, or having the U.S. conduct these missile strikes. The fog of war. I mean, nobody ever knows what's happening. I mean, when these things like this go down, I mean, it's really hard to get definitive news. But what we now have pretty much confirmed that the Ayatollah's life is no longer continuing, if you will, to put it bluntly. And early in the morning, as soon as I found out, I started doing stuff in the house, and there were rumors that the Ayatollah had been eliminated. And one of the people, hi, C. Giorgio, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thank you for coming through. And Phantom 2AH, hi to you as well. One of the pieces of news that was coming out from the region of Iran this morning was that a lot of the high ranking military personnel from Iran were eliminated, but that the Ayatollah of Iran's life was not eliminated. See, Giorgio, how your day is going? It's going fantastic. Thank you very much. I hope yours is as well. But there was also this morning when I was shuffling my things around and like trying to catch a Iran strike that was shown on NBC News, and it was actually a political official, not a religious official in Iran, and he came on to NBC News and said that the Ayatollah was actually still alive. Um, it was only later in the afternoon when I was getting ready to walk that I was actually on another live stream of a channel called Democracy 101, and the host of that channel, Marky Dan, had broken the news that Trump put out a tweet or something stating that the Ayatollah was indeed no longer with us. But as of today, I mean, again, like I try to be very candid about what my political leanings are. Um, some people, just because I'm a Puerto Rican who didn't want, or who's anti-communist, anti-liberal, I mean, like they'll kind of like lump you in as being some sort of you know, totally conservative leaning. Um, I am conservative. I'm not nuts about Republicans though. I do root for Donald Trump though, because I think he reflects my interest in many ways as it relates to the country which I live in, America. But I don't vote. Very candid about that. Um, I hate most politicians it's been that way for probably going on 2 decades up until Donald Trump. And in spite of the fact that I do root for Donald Trump and I think that he does represent a lot of the interests that I value, I still didn't vote for him. I just don't believe in elections. Having said all that, though, one thing that I do loathe is war. I hate the prospect of war. I hate that the military industrial complex gets richer off of war. I hate the loss of life in relation to war. I hate fake economies related to war. Everything that war entails, I'm pretty much against. Having said all that, I'm not going to be one of these people that now that Trump has, in essence, engaged us in another field of battle in Southwest Asia, that is Iran. How you doing, Jacob Mercado? Um, in spite of all that, um, I'm not, gonna, you know, not want Trump to do well because he just engaged in another war. I mean, the latest example of Trump engaging in some sort of battle was in Venezuela. And from what we saw in the case of Venezuela, the leader of Venezuela, Maduro, was taken, pretty much wrapped up and brought back to my neighborhood, Sunset Park, Brooklyn. He's actually in the jail there as we speak. But to conduct that operation, there was no loss of American lives. Now, I don't know if American lives were lost today or this afternoon in relation to the Iran war or the Iran military strikes that have been undertaken. But I will say that a person who has been a thorn on the side of America, the Ayatollah, has been removed. And I think that that's a good thing. I think the fact that you have these religious leaders of nations or fanatic religious leaders of nations um, setting, countries against one another using religion, namely using the Muslim religion or the Islamic religion, it's a danger to the Western world and to all the countries throughout. And it's nothing against Muslims or it's nothing against people who have followed the Islamic faith. I know a lot of people that are Islamic that I grew up with that are fantastic people. I mean, they're pretty much just like I am. Like, you know, they act like Puerto Rican dudes. But the fanatics of any persuasion, when it comes to religion, are no good for the world. And the latest iteration that you see many of um, are Muslim fanatic or Islamic fanatics. You got that in terms of these moron illegal immigrants that are in Europe, whether that be France, in England. You have these welfare recipient Islamists that are there, trying to bone blonde women and, you know, um, tripping on religion and acting like they're these big fanatics and, kind of like beating the world down with their religion while they're, living comfortably in Europe, getting government assistance. And, I'm pretty sure if most Europeans had the choice, they would get them out of Europe. Um, in America, I mean, there are not many cases of, large populations that try to beat. I mean, unless you go to Minneapolis with the Somali crowd, or another group of welfare recipient people that try to beat you down with their religion, that are very tribalized, that are very big proponents of sticking to their own and of excommunicating people within their own spheres that you know um, don't fall in line with whatever they're pushing. I mean, we don't really need that in the world, and Iran was a country full of that. And again, like Iran is a country that's largely Christian, and in spite of that, it was always used as a sort of boogeyman, like as to why you know certain countries should be getting a lot of military assistance from America, and Iran was always used as an excuse as to how this pocket in Africa or these other Islamists in Palestine were getting some sort of financing to do terrorist actions, which a lot of times I don't even believe that shit. I'm not telling you that I believe any of these things like to be true, but when you have somebody who's a somebody who you could always blame it on in Iran, like the events of October 7th were blamed on Iran in terms of that Iran supposedly financed the people that undertook the October 7th attacks. Now, I don't believe that for 1 second. I mean, I find that very hard to believe. But the fact that now you remove this, you know, Islamic clerical leader that runs the country of Iran, in spite of where their politics may take them, I think that's a good thing. I think it was good when Maduro got eliminated and captured. I mean, he's alive, so I mean, I don't root for anybody's death. But in the case of the Ayatollah, I mean, I'm not shedding any tears that he was removed off the board. And these things are happening rapidly. I mean, like I don't know, like a lot of people like that I deal with are very opposed to any sort of move that Trump makes, or are usually finding themselves pursuing a political position or a mindset position that's just anti whatever Trump's doing at that time. So if Trump doesn't like illegal immigrants, they happen to love illegal immigrants and they don't want any illegal immigrants removed. If Trump imposes some sort of tariffs, they sort of also become tariff experts, and then they are opposed to all sort of tariffs. If Trump's against the green energy, they automatically become earth conservationists, and are the biggest proponents of solar, and and they almost try to play catch up, trying to learn things on the fly just to take a political position that's just opposite of whatever Trump's doing at that time. I saw that in the case of Venezuela. A lot of people were tripping about that fact. They really couldn't bring up the fact that they had any goodwill for President Maduro of Venezuela, but they were just opposed to the fact that Trump ordered troops to go into Venezuela, and their expectation was that Venezuela was gonna fall apart, and we were gonna be at war and troops on the ground. And it seems like a week after the attack against Venezuela, I mean, how often do you hear about Venezuela in the news today? I mean, pretty much zero. Um, I was utterly surprised that the last week when El Mencho was eliminated by the Mexican forces with supposedly some American help, that people didn't become cartel sympathizers. I mean, that's probably something that I could expect down the line when Trump eventually centers his focus on the cartels that are just below our southern border here in America, in the country of Mexico. Um, but in terms of a lot of these people's initial reaction when they jumped out the window because they thought that, or they thought that Trump ordered this hit in Iran of the Ayatollah. I mean, now their expectation is that there's going to be troops in the ground. Even this morning, I mean, a lot of the talk that I was hearing, even from conservative outlets or conservative figures on Twitter that are just shitting on Trump today, um, conservative ink, if you will. A lot of them are, envisioned that there was going to be troops in the ground in Iran, and I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen as of right now, but they immediately jumped out the window when they were giving their opinions on the matter and saying, "Oh, well, this is the last straw, and I'm not riding with Trump because of him starting another war." And I'm sort of hearing these same people, like I'm giving an example. Like there's a account called Jackson Hinkle. Like he's not a conservative like that, um, and he's usually anti-Trump. But there's a lot of these accounts on Twitter that I see that are supposed conservatives or that are anti-liberal, if you will, but they seem to, with every sort of Trump news, take shots at Trump, like oh f Trump and he's a Zionist puppet or stuff to that effect. And I heard a lot of that today too. I mean, even though make no mistake about it, to say that BB and Israel weren't interested in saying that they were looking to have strikes in Iran, like I'd be foolish to say that today. But nevertheless, I mean, I subscribe to the notion that a lot of those countries benefited from having a radical Muslims throughout the world, but there's no place in the Muslim world that was more radicalized or that had the capability of harming the US than Iran was. And I also find it very peculiar that Iran, a lot of the strikes that they did in retaliation for being for the Ayatollah getting hit or for Iran getting hit by American missile strikes. I find it very peculiar that Iran's retaliatory strikes went towards other Arab nations like Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Um, and that just goes to show you. I mean, it seems like a lot of these people that are like ISIS, like never conducted any sort of operation in Israel that I remember. Um, and Iran, I mean, like they talked a good game about Israel, and you again, you have this supposed financing that they do of enemies of Israel, which a lot of times I don't believe. But I never really seen them undertake any sort of concrete, legitimate action against them besides saber rattling and having given a enemy for Israel to have and for America to have, like, and now we may no longer have that. I mean, like Iran is on notice right now. I mean, I don't know how their line of succession works. Like if the Ayatollah Mimi, like the next guy, like or who's the next in line. But I'm pretty sure like that Trump is, if you, whether you like him or hate him, like Trump's a deal maker, and Trump's probably making a deal with the people who are next in line now, or Trump probably knows that it's likely in the best interest of America for the whole religious cleric leading the nation of Iran to not be beneficial to America, and is probably gonna help steer Iran into not having a religious cleric type person run that country any longer. Like to not have a new Ayatollah, if, to put it plainly. Um, and I think that Iran has some sort of the people of Iran could control that too. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they don't have or they didn't have the capability of electing their own leaders or putting their own leadership in place. But now, as of this afternoon, that possibility is a bright one for those kind of endeavors in that country. Um, but again, I mean, in the case of Venezuela, a lot of people expected long-term war, boots on the ground in Southern America, whereas pretty much a week after we took Maduro out of Venezuela without losing one American troop, you had the people that are running Venezuela right now more than willing to work with a Trump administration. And I mean, like, we're getting their oil right now. I mean, like, we pretty much got them on the wraps. And it took, what, a weekend? Right now, I mean, like, in spite of all the bad press that was happening this morning, I just finished watching the news, and on a day like today, you would expect the news from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock to just be straight up Iran, 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 Iran. But since the Ayatollah was removed, and it's actually a positive bit of news for Trump, and also since the mainstream media, including Fox, they all hate Trump. Um, the Ayatollah being removed, which is the biggest news out of what happened today. Say what you will as far as America um, striking another country. At the end of the day, America eliminated the biggest opposition or one of the biggest foes of America this afternoon. So it's actually good news for a Trump administration. And again, since it is good news for a Trump administration or it's good PR for the Trump administration, the regular mainstream media, they'll just cover a small facet of it and try to keep it pushing. Like, they talk about the next thing. Like right now when I was watching the news before I started this live stream, granted, I mean, this is the 10 o'clock news and it was about to end when I started this live stream at 10:50. But they were talking about women's flag football here locally in New York City. Um, some league that started in some other part of New York. I don't know. But what they weren't talking about is Iran, Iran, Iran. I mean, and it goes to say, I mean, like, I don't know what's gonna come next in Iran. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the Iranian people. I've met Iranian people here in America. None of them like the Ayatollah, the past Ayatollah, this Ayatollah. A lot of them had to flee that area because of the movement or the religious movement that the Ayatollah had put in place. And who knows? I mean, like, Saturday, February 28th might be the beginning of no more Ayatollahs for the nation of Iran or the Republic of Iran, whatever you want to call it. And that'd be a fantastic thing. I mean, I hear a lot of these people that I've met from Iran here in America talk about Iran in the past, like in the 70s, and the Iran that their parents grew up in being this real liberal place to be, that it was kind of like the Ibiza of the Arabic world. And I mean, do I want, like, the debauchery that happens in a place like Ibiza to be happening in Iran next year? Not necessarily, but I mean, I think it's better for them to have that, which I don't foresee happening. I don't think that Iran's going to turn into this party, debauchery haven in a few months or anything like that. But I think that it's better to have even the filth that happens in a nasty city like San Francisco happening there than for them to have these religious clerics running that country that always present a oppositional figure for the military industrial complex for certain nations in the Middle East that we tend to give a lot of money to and arm because of a country like Iran. So I mean, take the bitter with the sweet. I mean, I don't know what's going to come of this. A lot of the people who I've been hearing giving opinions of the negative that may come from this, really can't describe or put any thought into something bad that may come of this. I mean, and a lot of it is coming from accounts and channels that are just, anti-Trump, or, I'm just gonna try to make some content that tries to paint Trump in a negative picture. YouTube channels. I mean, I'm taking a wait and see approach. Again, coming from the perspective of, I mean, even though I did want Trump to win against Joe Biden and against Kamala Harris, that's not saying much because Joe Biden probably is the worst president of the history of America, and Kamala Harris probably would have been just as bad. Barack Obama, I mean, from the was a sellout, to put it plainly. Um, I didn't think too negatively of Bill Clinton when he was the president, even though I was a younger man then. But not too big of a fan. I'm not a fan at all of George Bush Senior. I mean Junior. The only president that I can say has even muttered anything that I wanted to hear while he's the president, not while he was campaigning, has been Donald Trump. I mean, I'm not a Donald Trump fanboy, but he's been the only president that has laid down things to me that right now make sense for my interest. And again, most of my interests relate to my pockets. Most of my interests relate to, oh, that's one of the channels right there that takes a position of being anti-Trump as a political stance. I'm pretty sure my brother, the boxing scholar, a fantastic channel, in spite of all the grief that I give him. But I'm pretty sure that the boxing scholar can't lay down any sort of what he believes politically without it being opposite of Trump. The boxing scholar is my brother, but at the end of the day, the boxing scholar's only political positions have to do with just being opposed to Trump. I mean, and again, I mean, like it seems like every channel that I am cool with on YouTube is within that those sort of political leanings. Um, but and that's fantastic too. There's still the bro. I'm pretty sure at the end of all this, um, my brother, the boxing scholar, once he gets a little older, he'll probably reflect on the moves that Donald Trump has made in a more positive light. Let me see. War crimes have nothing to do with Trump. I don't know which war crimes. As far as what happened today, what happened today was a G move. Let me see. Never, bro. I mean, again, at the end of maybe you're not like too keen on the history of Iran and like the threat that they made to America, whether that threat was real or not. Like, I mean, like that supposed threat from Iran was probably one of the biggest reasons as to why we're constantly throwing money in the direction of Israel, as to why we're arming that country, and now that whole way of thinking might change. I mean, no matter which politician was in office, it seems like we're always throwing money in that direction, in the direction of that country. And one of the reasons that we've been throwing bread in the pockets of that country was because of Iran. At the end, and again, whether that's a real threat, whether Iran was a real threat or not. Like I always thought that Iran was a fake threat. Iran was probably working with these people. And I always play with that theory in my own head. But as of today, I mean, like and again, I don't know what's gonna happen next week. I don't know who's the next in line. Like, if there's gonna be a different Ayatollah, I'm pretty sure that that's not gonna go down. I mean, based off what I saw in art in Venezuela, they had their political leader removed. Um, maybe the day after they were doing some saber rattling and saying popping shit about the U.S. and by the following week, whoever took over Venezuela fell right in line with what America wanted. And I want that to happen in Iran? Absolutely. I want Iran to be a neutered dog when it comes to their dealings with America. I don't care how they deal with any other nations. I mean, like if they or I don't care as much. Again, I don't want to be arming other nations because Iran. I think that's ridiculous. Um, the moves that Trump makes are for the long term benefit of the nation in which I live in, and that's a good thing. I mean, like I ain't just living in here as a so called minority, you know, under some white guy's thumb. That's how y'all describe your existence. I'm not saying you're kidding, but like when y'all talk politically, y'all talk like on some victim shit, and or a lot of people that I deal with be talking on ill victim time, and I mean it's not a good look. Like I don't raise my kids as a so-called a fellow so-called minority. I don't raise my son to be on no victim time or to be thinking that we have no political stake or no stake in America. I raised my son to think that America is his, not belonging to anybody else. And I think all Americans should talk in the same fashion. That's why I find it highly disrespectful for illegal immigrants to be pouring into America and wanting to take a bit from people who were actually born here or people who deserve far more than what some next in line illegal immigrant thinks that they could claim for themselves. But with that, I hope you guys have found my content enjoyable. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. If I don't pull up again, I'm gonna try to go on to as many channels that will have me. When I do get the free time, I got to do other shit this weekend too. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Do help me grow this channel. Like, share, subscribe. With that, I'm out. Peace. Keep your head on a swivel. With that, I'm out.